Hey, what's up guys? It's Jamie here. So today I'm doing a solo video and the topic is videography and photography. So a lot of people have been requesting for me to do a video like this for a very long time, and I've kind of shied away from it because I've always felt like there's better guys out there doing these sort of videos than me. So I just figured I would just leave it to them, but because so many people have been asking for it, I figure, I kind of owe it to you guys to, talk about this subject. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys my story of how I got into videography, and then I'm going to give you a few tips on what sort of cameras to buy, what sort of editing software to use and stuff like that. So grab a coffee, grab some snacks, because this is probably going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. I'll try and make it as fast as possible, but yeah, warning you guys, I do tend to blabber on. So yeah, alright, so how did I get into videography and photography? I got into videography and photography thanks to you guys. So I just want to say a really big thank you to all of our YouTube family for making this career path possible for me. Because if it wasn't for you guys, this career path wouldn't be possible. So I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for making this possible. So, okay, so the first video I ever edited in my entire life was the proposal video. I had no idea what I was doing. I look back on that video now, and as much as I look back on it with really amazing memories, because it was one of the greatest days of my life, and I'm so thankful that we have it on video, my editing was terrible. I had no idea what I was doing. I edited it on iMovie on my Mac. Yeah, the editing, it was very average. The night was amazing, but the editing was average. So that was the first video that I ever made. But the whole process of editing it, I really loved. I just found it was something really therapeutic. When I was editing that video, I just got lost in it. I almost didn't want the video to end, because I just wanted to continue editing. Like, I just felt like this was this creative medium that I never really knew existed to me, and all of a sudden it was like, wow, like I'm editing a video. I didn't think I could do it. I thought it was like really complicated, and it wasn't. That was the first video I ever edited. And then obviously, as you guys all know, the video went viral, and then Nikki and I, we decided to start doing YouTube videos. So I knew that if we're going to do this whole YouTube thing, I needed to learn how to edit videos. And I had a good friend, Tim, from TMC Media, who had a really awesome video studio. He was doing really big things. He had shot a music video for T-Pain. He had shot a music video for Cali Swag District. And I just started hanging out in his studio and helping him out around the studio. And he was teaching me basic stuff about editing videos, and I was helping him edit his projects. And basically I was interning for him because, I wasn't really getting paid. I was just, doing it for the experience, and I was learning a lot. And at first I just wanted to edit videos. I didn't want to actually pick up a camera because it just looked way too complicated for me. It was really intimidating, the thought of shooting on a manual DSLR camera. It looked really hard. But he kept pushing me to do it, and eventually, I started picking it up, and at first I found it really hard. It was one of the most challenging things that I've ever done in my life, but every time I picked it up, I felt just a little bit more confident in what I was doing. And the guy I was interning for, he would always tell me, you're not allowed to shoot in auto mode, you have to shoot everything in manual. So manual ISO, like pick your own shutter speed, pick your own aperture, do everything yourself, because you've got to learn how to use the camera properly. You've got to learn how the camera works. And that was really challenging, but I'm really grateful that that's the way that I learned, and that's the way that I encourage all of you guys to learn as well. When you're starting to learn video or photography, always shoot in manual mode, and take your camera with you wherever you go. Like, I borrowed a Canon 7D when I was starting out, and you would have sworn that I was a tourist if you saw me on the street, because I was always walking around with my camera, taking photos of absolutely every random thing that I could see, videos of every random thing that I could see. And like I was looking at them through this little viewfinder in the back of the camera, and they'd always look so cool. And then I'd get home and I'd look at them on the computer and I'd notice, oh man, they're like out of focus, or the exposure's really wrong. And you know, like I'd notice all the things that sucked about them that I couldn't actually really pick on that little screen. But the good thing is I learned from that. So I really encourage you guys to go out, shoot as much as you can, make as many mistakes as possible. Literally aim to make mistakes, because the more mistakes you make, the more you're going to learn from them. Like, I really want to stress that. Embrace mistakes. And another thing that I did was I searched for as much knowledge online as I could about not only video editing, but video cameras, how to use them, things like that. There was a website that I still use to this day that I swear by it. It's called lynda.com. I'm putting the link in the description of this video. I really encourage you guys, if you want to learn how to edit videos, if you want to learn how to use any program, this website is amazing. They do these online classes, so they're like video tutorials. You watch a video, you download the project files, and you do exactly what they're doing while they're doing it in the video, and you get to do it at your own pace. There isn't that pressure that you get when you're going to school of, you know, like having to be graded and all that, because, you know, when you're learning this way, it's only you grading yourself. And to be honest, I think I was a tougher critic than any teacher would have ever been. And you know, I swear by this website. I really encourage other people to go out and use this website. And this isn't a paid sponsorship. I just want to stress that I actually have to pay for my account. They don't even give me a free account. So I really stress this is an awesome website. Another guy that I encourage you guys to check out is Dave Dugdale from Learning DSLR on YouTube. I'm putting his link in the video description below. He's really awesome. He teaches you, you know, all the basics of how to use cameras, the basics of, you know, the relationship between ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. Definitely, you guys, that's something you really need to get your heads around. I'm not going to touch on the topic today. I'm going to put a link in the description below to a video where you can go and, you know, sort of get the basics on that, because that's something you're really going to need to get your head around. Another question people always ask me is how I get to work with so many celebrities. And the basic answer to that is hustling. Like, it has been a hustle, but it has paid off. And when I say hustle, like, it has really, like, I started off hustling like crazy to get these gigs. First celebrity gig I ever had was Kendrick Lamar. Me and my friend, we went down to the Kendrick Lamar show and we had fake media passes. We used media passes that were from another show that my friend had videoed. And we went down, we had the video cameras in our hands, and we went down purposely at the time where Kendrick was just about to go on stage, at the point where the security guards are all, you know, like a little bit stressed out, everything's really fast paced. We got to the door and we're like, we're from, and we showed our, you know, like company name and fake media pass, you know, and just acted like we're just walking in, like it was, you know, like we were meant to be walking in, like, and he like stops us, he's like, "Oi, let me check that you're on the list." And he like, you know, goes through the list and he's like, I don't see your names. And then I remembered the name of the guy who was running the show. I said, I was like, "Oh, such and such, should have put us on the list. Maybe you put it under Jamie." And he goes through the list again. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's a Jamie on here. Go through, guys." So it was lucky that I got a common name. And we just went straight through. And then we pulled the same routine on the bouncer to get backstage. We were like, you know, media pass, da-da-da-da. And he led us backstage. And we were backstage filming for about 25 minutes until a bouncer came up to us and was like, "Who the hell are you guys?" And we're just like, "Oh, look, we're sorry. You know, we'll stop videoing." And he was really cool. He didn't even kick us out. He was just like, "Look, you guys can stick around, watch the show, just don't video anymore." Okay, cool. So then we put the video online and we got like 50,000 views from that video. After Kendrick Lamar, the next artist that I got to work with was Macklemore. I had been a Macklemore fan for years. Like, you know, I'd been into him since his like underground days, and, you know, I had all of his albums. This was at the point where thrift shop was just starting to blow up. So he was just getting big, but he wasn't like, you know, like massive like he is now. So he was a lot easier to contact back then. So I did some Google searches. I found out the name of his tour manager, who actually turns out to be his fiance as well. And I contacted her. I showed her the video that I'd done for Kendrick Lamar and said that I wanted to do something similar for him. And she got back to me, and she actually wanted me to get involved in the Can't Holders music video. They were looking to shoot the Can't Holders video in New Zealand, and they asked me if I would be a location scout for it. I guess she just figured that since I was from Melbourne and Melbourne's so close to New Zealand, I would know New Zealand. But unfortunately, I've never been to New Zealand in my life. I know nothing about New Zealand pretty much. So I declined that offer, which in retrospect, looking at how big that single became and how amazing that music video was, I wish I had just winged it, caught a flight to New Zealand and just worked my ass off and scouted for that video, because I wish I was involved in it now. But I did decline that job, but I got in contact with some video companies in New Zealand and linked them up. So I sort of helped make that happen, and she appreciated all this work that I did for free, and she gave me a media pass to the Melbourne show. And that's how I got to film Macklemore as my second artist. And at this point in time, I still didn't really know what I was doing. I was using the wrong lens. I was using the 85mm right up at the stage. It was way too zoomed in. I stood in the same spot all night long. I didn't have a lot of different angles going on. It was, you know, like, I'll put the link to the video right here, like right where my finger is. Click on that. You can watch the Macklemore video that I did. It's definitely not my best work. I was shooting in the wrong shutter speed. I made a lot of mistakes, but I definitely learned from it as well. And he was a really cool artist to work with. To this day, he's still my favorite artist that I've worked with. He was just such a nice guy. Like, obviously you guys know that because he did the video for Nikki for our wedding as well. So yeah, after I did Kendrick and Macklemore, I just started contacting every big artist that was coming to Melbourne. I would just contact their manager and say, look, I want to do a video for your artist like this. And then, you know, like 90% of the time I wouldn't hear back from them. But I never let that get to me, because, you know, a small, 10% of the time someone would get back to me. They'd either say no or they'd say yes. And so long as it was a small chance that somebody could say yes, that was enough motivation for me to keep going. So I just kept going, kept doing videos for different artists for free, just to sort of get my name out there. And then it got to the point where, you know, people started talking about the videos that I was doing, because my videos got better and better and better, and I started developing my own style. And it got to the point where people started contacting me, actually asking me to do the videos. You know, like I got to go on tour with Tiger. I'm about to go on tour with Fat Man Scoop. I've got a few more like really big name tours coming up this year and next year. So it's all worked out for me. It's just been about persistence and just, you know, not taking no for an answer. Also, another tip that I would give you guys is use all of your resources. You know, just video as much as you can. If you have friends with businesses, try and do stuff for them. You know, like if you have a friend who's got like a beauty shop, or, you know, a bakery, a cafe, a restaurant, a nightclub, like my best friend Philmon, he has one of the, you know, most successful hip hop and R&B nightclubs in Melbourne. And, you know, like when I was just learning how to video, I'd be like, man, could I just come down with my video camera and just video in your club, like, you know, just to practice? And you'd be like, yeah, cool. So use all the resources that are available to you. Do some free videos for your friends' businesses. It's a win-win situation. It's going to be good for your friends. It's going to help promote their businesses. It's going to help promote your business. It's going to help you build a resume. So not only could it possibly turn into pay jobs from your friends, from them realizing, hey, having videos for my business is actually like helping build my business. Let's get some more. But also other people in that industry and other industries similar will see see these videos and then want to hire you as well. So it's a really good way to start out. That's how I started out in the club industry, and it worked really well. Next up, I'm going to talk about cameras. People are always asking us about what cameras we use and what cameras we would recommend them using as well. So the first camera I'm going to talk about is the camera that we do our vlogs with. It's just this little guy here. It's the Canon PowerShot. It's the ELPH 110HS version. It's a really cheap camera. I think we paid like 150 bucks on eBay for this little guy here, but it does a really good job. It's pretty smooth, you know. The sound quality, it's average, but for what you're paying, it's really good. It's, you know, a million times better than just using like the camera on your phone. Also have to say thanks to Gabe and Babe, because they actually recommended us buying this, so they use the same vlogging camera as well. So yeah, you'll get good results out of this if you just want to do like point and shoot, like, you know, vlogs like we do. But if you want something a little bit more professional, the camera that I use for all my video work is the Canon 6D. So that's a DSLR camera. I use that with a variety of different lenses. I think it's a pretty cool mid-range camera. It does everything that I want. It's got good low light capability. I can shoot up to about 5,000 ISO and have very limited noise in that, and the picture's still pretty sharp. It also shoots at 60 frames per second, so that means that I can have slow motion at just a little bit slower than half speed. So that's a pretty cool function as well. And it's a really nice camera. I've been really happy with it, and it takes really good photos as well. Being a DSLR, that's one of the really good things about buying a DSLR camera. Not only are you going to get good video, you're going to get good photos as well. And I encourage you guys, if you're going to get into videography, to get into photography as well, because photography has helped me a lot with my videos. Because when you're focusing on a still image, you're a lot more focused on composition. And a really good tip that I got given was, when you're filming, you should have in mind that every frame of your video, if you were to pause it, would be a good photo. So pretty much think of it like that. Photography and videography are two completely different things, but at the same time, doing both will really help you. So if you guys don't have the money for a Canon 6D, because they are quite pricey, another camera, entry-level camera that I would recommend using is the 60D. The 60D is an older version. It's not a full frame camera like my Canon 6D. It's a crop sensor camera, which means the frame is a little bit smaller. But look, you know, you just need to step back a little bit more and you're fine. Also, it doesn't have the same low light capabilities as the 6D has. And, you know, like, it doesn't have as good a sensor either, but you're still going to get pretty good videos out of it. I know a lot of beauty vloggers use the Canon 60D with prime lenses. So, you know, a lot of people do use this camera and get really good results out of it. Also, the Canon 7D is very similar to this, just slightly better and slightly more expensive. So that's also another good camera to use. That's the one that I started out on. And also another camera that's really making waves at the moment, that is one that I actually wouldn't mind getting my hands on, because I think it's a little bit better than the Canon 6D, and it's about the same price as well, is the Panasonic GH4. Now, the thing that I really like about the Panasonic GH4 is it has the ability to shoot in 4K. Now, if you don't know what 4K is, think about it this way. Full HD, which is Blu-ray quality, is 1080. So think of that as 1K, 1000. The Panasonic can, so we've got like 1000 here, right? The Panasonic at 4K is shooting 4 times that. So if you're going to be editing your video down to Blu-ray quality, you have the capability to zoom in 4 times. And, you know, like, you can crop your frame, you can change it around. Like, maybe, you know, you didn't like something in the the video, you can just sort of like crop it in. And yeah, it's a really handy function being able to do that. And you know, up until recently, you could only do that on professional cinema cameras. It's really amazing that you can do it on this quite affordable camera that it's selling for like $1,700 US, which for, you know, a camera like that is pretty awesome. So that's another camera that I would recommend looking into if you're looking at getting something professional. And once again, you can take photos with that camera as well. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is lenses. Having good quality glass is one of the most important things about a camera. You can have the best quality camera, but if you don't have a good quality lens, then your pictures are still going to look really crap. I personally shoot on a variety of zoom lenses and prime lenses. What prime lenses are a fixed focal length lens. So basically, there's no zoom whatsoever. If you want to zoom in on subject, you literally have to walk closer to it, which sounds like a bit of a pain in the ass. And most people are like, why would you want that when you could just, you know, like zoom? There are advantages to using prime lenses. Prime lenses are generally a lot sharper in picture quality than zoom lenses. And they also have a lower f-stop as well, which means you can go lower on your aperture with them, which means, you know, it's better in low light situations. And also you get more depth of field in it as well. But if I'm doing a run and gun gig, I definitely still like to use zoom lenses because, you know, if I don't know exactly where everything that I'm going to be shooting is going to be, having the convenience of being able to zoom in and out is really good. The lenses that I personally use are, I've got a Sigma 50mm 1.4, which is what's on my camera at the moment. It's a really good entry-level lens. My other prime lens that I have is the Canon 85mm L lens. It goes down to 1.2 and it is my all-time favorite lens. It is tack sharp. It just creates amazing bokeh. It just really singles out the image. It'll completely blur out the background and keep like your subject in tack sharp focus. I absolutely love this lens. It's not ideal for all scenarios though, because it is quite zoomed in. I also use the 24-105, which is a good lens because it has image stabilization. So your images are going to be a little bit more stable, like if you're moving around. I also have the Canon 16-35 wide angle lens, which is the lens that I use at most clubs. It's really nice. It's wide angle. It's sharp. It's if you're in a situation where you're really close to your subjects and you need to fit as much in as possible, it's a really good lens because it doesn't actually have a fisheye effect. And it goes down to 2.8, so it's really good in low light as well. Alright, so my next tip is going to be on video editing software. So there's two main software programs that most people use, and those programs are Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro. They're both very good, but they're both good for different things. So it really depends what you're going to be wanting to use them for. If you're just going to be doing video editing as a hobby, or if you're just wanting to do like vlog videos or beauty tutorials or fashion videos, stuff like that, I would highly recommend using Final Cut. Final Cut, it's a really good program and it's very easy to use. That's the thing that really sells it. It's very user-friendly. It doesn't really have a steep learning curve. Everything's pretty straightforward. And it has a lot of really cool effects that come straight out of the box. So you can make your videos look quite professional with very minimal effort. So it is a really cool program. But in saying that, a lot of the effects, they aren't as customizable as I would like them to be. So I personally edit in Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro, it's got a much steeper learning curve. And Premiere Pro, it doesn't have a lot of effects straight out of the box. Like when you add a lot of effects in Premiere Pro, things that you could just do with a click of a button in Final Cut, you have to do from scratch. So something that would just, you know, take a click of a button in Final Cut is possibly going to take you half an hour to an hour to do in Premiere Pro, depending on what the effect is. But the advantage of Premiere Pro is you can customize everything pretty much as you want, which is why I opt to use Premiere Pro. I like to have complete control over the video that I'm editing. because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So if you're a perfectionist like me, I'd probably recommend, you know, using Premiere Pro and doing a few courses on Premiere Pro. But if you just want to like pick it up really quickly, do basic videos that look quite professional and have cool effects in them, check out Final Cut Pro. And you'll really love that. Oh, and just one last final tip that I wanted to share with you guys is where to buy cheap camera stuff from. I know that the cheapest place that I've been able to find online after a lot of research is a website called eglobal.com.au. It does have a .au on the end of the website, but it's actually based in Hong Kong. And their camera stuff is just ridiculously cheap in comparison to the shops in Australia. As much as I want to support the shops in Australia, they just charge way too much. I bought my Canon 6D from them as well as a lot of my lenses, and I saved about 40% of what I would have actually been paying had I gone to some of the other camera shops in Melbourne, because I shopped around a lot. Like, I'm all about getting savings. And once again, I want to stress, I didn't actually get asked by eGlobal to do this review for them. I just think they're an awesome website in terms of the way that their prices are just always so much cheaper than everybody else. And also they send their stuff really quick. Like, everything that I've got, it's only taken like 3 or 4 days, which is pretty amazing coming from Hong Kong. So if you're looking to buy some professional camera stuff, do your shopping around, like price match, because, you know, there might be other sites that have specific things a little bit cheaper than them, but most of the time I do find that they are cheaper than everywhere else that I look, including eBay. So yeah, and they're also like, they're a pretty trusted seller as well. I've never had a problem with them, because you guys know if I have a problem with somewhere, I will give them a bad review. But if I get good experience from somewhere, I will also give them a really good review. And these guys are awesome in terms of prices. So yeah, check them out when you're shopping around. So yeah, thanks for sticking around and watching my video on video and photography. And if you like the video, please hit that like button, comment. If you didn't like the video, comment as well, but you don't necessarily have to press dislike. But you can comment and tell me what you didn't like about the video, because this is the first video I've ever done like this. And I understand it might have been a little bit boring and long-winded, so I do apologize for that. Yes. See you guys. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.